Over the last few weeks, I've realized something. I've spent a lot of time questioning, what kind of business should I build? What career should I pursue? And even where should I live, and what kind of relationships I want in general, across the board: business, friendship, familyship, romantic, platonic, all of it. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized the person with the most information wins about themselves. Not the smartest, not the richest, and definitely not the most talented. The person who understands themselves the most. So I'm going to talk about this, and I have 4 points that I want to go through to just kind of emphasize this point. And the first one is self-awareness saves years of mistakes. For a long time, I just thought if I pushed through the jobs and just tried to give 110%, because I always show up my best regardless of how I felt about the jobs. But if I just pushed through some more, if I just stopped talking about the things that I don't like, if I just practice positive thinking and positive reinforcement, then it would just be okay. 5 years later, and 2 years more specifically for my current role and industry, I just realized something important. I just don't like these roles. They just don't align with how I like to work. And that is valuable information. I realized that what you don't want is just as important as what you want. And that is only something that you can understand through self assessment and self-awareness and through learning about yourself. I've always heard these self-help gurus talking about self-help, and I never really understood exactly what that was referring to until when I'm realizing, like, self-help is really to understand you. It's really to help you to see your patterns. It's really to help you to identify how you show up and what does that even say about you. Next point is self-awareness helps in relationships. And this ranges from personal relationships to business relationships across the board. I honestly believe that sometimes we get frustrated with other people when the real issue is we just haven't clearly defined our own needs. But you are only going to know what you need when you start to assess yourself. You ask yourself certain questions. What does support mean to you? Everybody has a different definition of support. Everybody has a different support need. Everybody just needs something different. What does communication mean for you? Like, what level of communication are you okay with across the board? What does partnership look like for you? I know personally, just by assessing myself, the three most important things that are for me is initiative, support, and I literally stumbled over this one, which literally I was gonna say it's reliable, right? But I stumbled over it ironically, because it's just like I want to say reliable and then I'm literally like stuck on it. But anyways, reliability, initiative, and support. And that's just how I naturally show up. That's how I show up across the board: work, personal, and that's just some things that are important to me. And that's just, you have to learn about yourself to understand what is important to you, and not just what is important to you, but why is it important to you. Everybody has their own quirks, and everybody has their own style and just the way they show up in general. And the things you desire helps you to function at your peak. And so this is understanding these things about yourself help you to know why you even need these things in the first place. So it helps you to have better interpersonal relationship and interactions with everybody else because you know exactly what you need. The third point, self-awareness helps in business. Everybody says start a business. But what kind? You literally hear everybody coming on here telling you to buy their programs. And if you don't know what you like, you're going to waste a lot of money because you're going to buy a lot of things because it's working for them and not necessarily because it's going to work for you. And as you can see, every time there's a content, they're always telling you, I cannot guarantee you results because they know this. A lot of these people are selling you things, they know this. They know this business worked for me because this is how I work. These are the characteristics that I have. This is the way that I love to work, and this is in my natural element. So because it's in my natural element, I have this level of success that I'm going to show you that you can get, even though I don't think you probably will because everybody does not work the same way, but I'm going to sell it to you because that's going to make me rich, right? So if you don't understand what kind of business you will thrive in, you're probably going to be in the wrong business for a very long time. You know, some people love sales. Some people hate it. Some people love numbers. Some people love people. Some people love systems. Some people love creating content. Like, I'm looking over here because this flash, the light is just shining in my eyes. But everybody loves different things. Everybody thrives in different environments. If you choose a business that fights your natural strengths, everything feels harder. You're wondering why you are just having to push 10 times harder in this industry. It's probably because it doesn't naturally align with you. It's not to say that even if things align, it's not going to have or require a level of hard work. Everything requires a level of hard work. But it's just that some things feel like you're pushing water uphill, and some things feel like you are literally just carrying the water. And yes, both of those things are heavy, but one is the natural weight from carrying the water just because it's heavy, and one is forcing something outside of its natural state of being. Those are not going to be the same type of hard. And so once you understand how you work and the environments that you thrive in, it's not going to guarantee that you're going to just automatically become successful at business, but there's going to be a different ease that comes with it, and you're not just feeling like you're fighting everything and everyone all the time. Before I move on to the next point, I just want to say, I know sometimes we have to do some things in certain seasons just to get to where we're trying to go. It's not a forever thing, but it's just a now thing. And that's not what I'm referring to, because I'm currently in one of those seasons right now. I know that I'm just in a now thing, but it's understanding that this awareness is what helped me to realize this is not what I want, but because of certain things, decisions that I have to make, and just certain goals, we just have to make it a now thing and be ready to pivot into what actually helps me to thrive and helps you to thrive as well. Next point, and the final point, is stop judging yourself for what you discover. I realize that sometimes we don't spend the time to learn about ourselves, not because we don't want to know the information, but sometimes because the information is going to be hard truths that we don't want to take in, right? Like, you literally may spend so many years working on your career path just to find out you don't even like that thing. You will literally have a need in your relationships that you keep stifling, but it's actually important to you, right? You feel like you're tired and you're just trying to rest, but you are actually even more exhausted than you think. And this one is way even harder to digest. It's like you're chasing a dream that no longer fits. And when you assess yourself and you realize things like that, you kind of wish you didn't know, because now you feel disappointed. Now you feel like you wasted a lot of time, and now you feel like you just have to start over. But the goal isn't to judge the information. The goal is to use it, because it's better to know what environments you're thriving and how you thrive, and if you are not in alignment, and change it, versus living your entire life not even knowing the direction that you're in and where you're going. The thing about life is, when you know where you're going, you know what to bring and who to bring. Like if you know that you're going to somewhere that it's snowing, you know you should carry a jacket. It prepares you, because even if you wanted to wear something that is revealing, but you found out it's snowing in the destination, you can now make an informed decision. I did not want to put on a coat, but now that it's snowing, let me bring my coat with me. That is what self-awareness does. It helps you to see that, okay, I may have started all the journey not in the right way, but now I realize and I can set myself up for success. I just used a quote to give an example because that's what came to my mind. But this is literally about anything, and way more serious and less serious things too. You can just put it in for what you want it to be. I think a lot of us spend years collecting information about everybody else. We know what our friends want, we know what our parents want, and we know what society expects. But we don't spend enough time understanding ourselves. And the person with the most information wins, because they make decisions based on reality and not assumptions. Maybe that's where success starts. Not in knowing everything about the world like the news trains us to and social media trains us to, but with knowing about ourselves. This is intentional work. This is not easy as just sitting down and just watching everything in front of us. This is internal work. This is quiet, still moments work, listening to our thoughts and that gut feeling that we have about something that we don't want to do, and all of those things that help us to really hear our own voice. So if you're in a space right now where you just don't know what move to make and you're in that standstill, maybe this is a moment for you to turn inward and to understand yourself a little bit more, to know what decision would be aligned with who you really are and not who you think you are. Okay? If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great time here. You can go back and watch all of the other videos. I'm sure there would be something that's for you. As we're on our journey to invest in ourselves, we are constantly redefining how we want to show up until we get to that version that we desire. For my loyal subscribers, thank you so much for sticking around, and thanks to everybody who are watching my videos and commenting. I really appreciate you guys. It means a lot to know that whatever I'm talking about is actually relating to you, and it's actually valuable information that you can use. So share this message with anybody who needs to hear it, anybody who needs to understand that you need to learn yourself, because that will help you to make better decisions for you, especially if you feel like you've been messing up. All right, and please consider subscribing if you have not yet subscribed. Comment below which one of these points stood out and what are you learning about yourself in this season. Give the video a like so that it can reach to a lot more people. And also follow me on all social media platforms at Khrista-Lee, and that's Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I will see you in my next video tomorrow. And yeah, for now, let's go make some mistakes. Bye.